This changes everything. Yep, you can now place ice monkeys in water, making it the first primary monkey to become amphibious. And now finally, we have a tower out of every single category that can be placed in water. It's an amphibious tower. This change actually opens up so many possibilities to so many maps. And today, what we're going to try and do is we are going to try and use this new change and see how much of a difference it's going to make on an expert map on Chimps mode. Now let's get Brickle going and let's talk about the changelog of the ice monkey, because even though placing it on water was like the main new feature, the changelog looks like this. It is a lot of new things, but basically it boils down to a couple of things. So the base ice monkey tower has gotten its price reduced from 500 to 400. This goes for all of the upgrades up to tier 2. So essentially what Ninja Cube is trying to do is they're trying to make like these early tiers of the ice more accessible so that you can use them a lot more in the early game. And when it comes to the other changes of the ice, basically the absolute zero got a lot cheaper, went from 19 to like 16k. So that's a huge change, again, without making the tower weaker in any capacity, so that's really good. But the main change, the most important one, is the fact that this guy can now be placed in water. So let's see if we can make use of him on an expert map on Chimps mode. So how is everything looking? Round 21 we should be pretty stable. I'm starting with a 110 Buccaneer, and then we have Brickle and 2 subs. Let's actually do something like this. Let's upgrade the sub a little bit. We want to get the submergence support because we're gonna have a camo balloon on 24 and we are kind of light on camo to begin things off. So go like this, and the money should be right on time. Yes, there we go. We get the submergence support, and I think I'm actually gonna unsubmerge this guy now because the next camo is gonna be on 33, so we have a very long ways until that happens. Alright, so round 33 incoming. One of these subs is not gonna be enough to decamo everyone, so I'm just gonna get the twin guns because it increases the pulse rate on it, and as soon as we're done with this round, we're gonna have to submerge both of these subs. That's gonna be a huge spend of money actually in the early game just on camo detection. Oh, let's go like this, but I think it's gonna work out later on. So once we're done with this round, we're gonna unsubmerge it. The goal for the next round is to get the destroyer, and then I actually want to get the ice as soon as possible. And how's everything looking? Around 35. This one might be a close one. We're getting really close to 3.3k, but there are a lot of black balloons on this one. They give a lot of cash, but the thing is they're kind of fast and might be annoying. Alright, so around 35, here's the thing. I think we're gonna have to use the Brickle level 3 ability on this one. We make the money and then we buy the destroyer. Yeah, there we go. I think that was the decision actually. Alright, so now let's submerge this thing. Actually, I think Brickle has camo detection, so we might not even need to submerge it. Let's just keep both of the subs up and running, and yes, there we go. That's absolutely perfect. Alright, so finally, guys, let's buy the ice tower. Now, this might be a little bit annoying because we cannot pop frozen balloons with all of our towers. In fact, everything that's a dart attack cannot pop frozen balloons, but it's gonna be fine in the long run, I feel like. So let's go like this. Let's start with the ice tower. So I think the crossbow that we're gonna be going for, and by the way, look at these prices, so much cheaper for the early tiers. I think it's a couple of $100 cheaper for sure. I was thinking what are the maps in which this new ice tower is gonna be useful, and I came up with a couple annoying maps. Like for example, Polyphemus and Chimps mode. You can place it in the eye. It's actually gonna go really hard on Polyphemus because the eye gives some bonuses, some attack speed and camo and everything. It's gonna be really useful on a map like Luminous Cove. I was thinking maybe from the beginner maps it's gonna be something like End of the Road maybe, and then also from these advanced maps, Erosion is actually gonna be nice. I mean, obviously, you know, the ice is gonna keep melting, but this is like such a cheap tower that I don't think you mind if it secures the early game for you. So we're about to have the money for the Artiquant, which I'm actually going to buy, and I think this is gonna come really handy on round 40 and the ceramics. We have the 032, so we can keep ceramics in place forever, and as soon as the mob comes in range into the destroyer, I'm gonna use the ability. And now the ice, yes, look at this thing, it's freezing them, it's keeping everyone in place. Oh my god, you guys know what, I'm actually so traumatized by this round 40 because I remember I was doing, you know, this is the standard strategy that you usually go for in Flooded Valley and Chimps mode, and I'm so traumatized because I remember leaking around 40 in the Moab even while using Brickle's level 3 ability, and now that's just no longer a thing. Alright, so now look at what we can do. We can just submerge these guys. We're gonna have some camo balloons, and because we have the ice as a platform now, I'm gonna try and just place the alchemist. It's really tight down here, isn't it? But let's go like this. We can actually just place an alchemist and this is something that, again, we've been missing in these Flooded Valley Chimp strategies because you needed to wait for the carrier flagship before you can actually buff your towers, but that's no longer the case. I mean, look at this guy. Look at this. This is so good. And you know what? Because it's gonna be only small balloons, like the majority of these balloons are gonna be small, they can even just get like permanently kept in place by this Artiquant ice. So even if you're not popping them all, you're just slowing killing them and just stunning them in place. And just like that, we almost have the money for the aircraft carrier around 49, and I'm actually just gonna buy this thing because we're still obviously going for the carrier flagship. I'm thinking what the other game-winning tower is gonna be. You know, previously we used to do something like the tag zone, and I've had a lot of success with it, but we can maybe switch things up. I've seen some druids of the forest as well, so we definitely have some options open, but I'm just so excited just watching this thing happen. Not only the alch buff, so I'm gonna get the alchemist going. I'm gonna go for 401 because we want to sustain the buff as much as possible. Okay, so let me get the village like this. Let's make this thing a jungle drones village, which was not a possibility obviously before. And again, I just cannot stress how important this is, because one of the scarier things in the previous you know, flooded valley chimp before the ice tower, at least for me, were these specific crowds like the 50s. I would be shaking in my boots, you know, as these 50s were ongoing, because it was just such a, it wasn't exactly unreliable, but you know, there was always a possibility of something leaking. But look at this thing, we can just fast forward everything with the alchemist and the jungle jumps. Alright, so in comes the BFB. This guy's gonna release a lot of small balloons, so are we gonna be able to hold them off with the ice? Oh my god, that wasn't even close. Yeah, I don't know guys, this ice, this change just absolutely trivializes the early game on Flooded Valley and Chimps mode. This is just like so easy that so far I don't feel like I've been playing the early game of an expert map. I feel like I've been playing the early game of like an intermediate or an advanced map. Let's see how we do on 63 though, because 63 might get annoying. So we do have the ice, and I'm just not gonna click any buttons. Let's just see how we do. Oh, that was actually interesting for two reasons. Number one, we eliminated the entirety of the wave, so that was really good, obviously, but we had a lot of sea mines from Brickle, so we're not gonna have all of those guys for the next run of ceramics. And let's see how we do now, if it's gonna be any different. Oh, that's, yes, exactly. Yeah, maybe a little bit of sea mines plus RNG from these grapes is not gonna be bad. So let's actually use the level 3 ability for the second wave of ceramics, and then I guess we can use the level 7 ability for these sea mines for the third one, and hopefully that's gonna be good enough. Yes, there we go. Not even close. And look at this thing. We are just about there with the money for the carrier flagship. And let's just actually use the sea mine for these fortified boys. And we do get the money for the carrier flagship in a second. Boom. There we go. Just get the kid. That was kind of close at top. I saw it. But there we go. We get the carrier flagship. And that was so much easier than what we previously used to do. Black boarding this map is just going to be so easy nowadays with this ice change. And yeah, let's just continue with this run. So we want to do a couple of things. Maybe we can upgrade the ice even further, actually. Maybe get the ability going. I'm telling you guys, this ice monkey buff changes everything. This is so good. And I think I made a decision on what the other tower is going to be, or what the other tier 5. I think we're going to go for the Spirit of the Forest, but I also want to make use of the Desperado, which is the new tower. So maybe we can kind of find a spot. I was thinking we buy the Avenger. Let's just watch 75 first, because this is kind of a beefy round, so hopefully everything goes well on this one. That's the, I think that's the last of the 40 fights, and it's just going to be these big balloons of BFVs. So as long as we deal with them one by one, that's going to be great. You know what? I'm actually going to use the, let's use the mine on this. Oh, never mind. Alright, never mind. I thought that might be an issue, but never mind. And just like that, we're into free play mode. Now for round 80, I had to use the Mega Mine plus the level 3 ability, which caught me off guard a little bit, but let's finally buy our other game-winning towers. So I was thinking of doing the Spirit of the Forest. This is a tower that I've not personally used, but I've seen other people use it, so I was like, why not give it a shot? So I'm just spamming the button because we're seeing some fortified balloons, and these guys might get a little bit annoying for us for sure. And I think that, don't quote me on this, by the way, I'm going to use the level 3 ability, by the way. Bam, there we go. We buy the Spirit of the Forest. But I think that one of the reasons why this tower is actually good on this specific map is because this track essentially counts as 2 tracks, because the balloons are coming out from top but also from the bottom, and both of those tracks are going to have vines on them. So essentially you're, I think, doubling the damage as the balloons are traveling through. Now I also wanted to do some shenanigans with the Avenger Desperado Monkey plus the sub actually, and the ice, because when you place the ice on water, it's obviously counted as a water tower. I mean, it is getting the carrier flagship buff, right? So if you buy the Bloontonium reactor, and this should reduce, I'm buying this mainly for Brickle actually, which yes, it's barely in range. That's really good. This is going to give Brickle 15% cooldown reduction, which is going to be nice for the level 3 ability, but this thing should also work on the ice actually once we buy the Snowstorm ability. Now on top of that, because the ice is a primary tower, if we decide to go for the primary mentoring, that's gonna be another 15% cooldown reduction. I mean, yeah, this guy just keeps winning, doesn't he? Alright, so 87, not even close on these rounds, I'm gonna be honest. And let's start buying up some towers that we wanted to buy for the late game. So here's how we want to start things off. I'm actually gonna hold off on the snowstorm purchase for a second because I want to buy the other towers first. And let's start things off with the relentless glues. Having this is 0 to 4. Again, only possible because of the ice change and nothing else. Well, I guess we do have the carrier flagship platform right now, but we would have had to use like this single spot for the ice so that we could place other towers, and that's just like no longer the case. Wait, now that I think about this, we can actually do the attack zone if we wanted to as well in combination with the Spirit of the Forest, which is kind of nuts actually. Because previously you would have to choose, it's either this or that, and then because one of the platforms is always going to reserve for the ice so that you can have the Arctic Wind in place for other towers, but now that's no longer the case. And there we go, we see some DDTs. These are not going to be an issue, I don't think. So 93 more DDTs incoming with $20,000, but I just want to chill with the spending of the money actually. I still want to go for the Avenger, but I want to see how this game is going to develop, especially 95. So how is it doing versus DDTs? They are getting popped. Oh, I don't know actually. Like, it was kind of close in this one, I'm not gonna lie. You guys know what? We should probably buy a Sabo just to be safe on 95, and maybe it's going to be useful in other rounds as well. So let's have the Sabo like this. This is a costly upgrade for sure. Let's dump the level 3 ability because it's kind of getting a little bit messy here in the middle. Let's make sure we deal with all these guys, and then everything is gonna come off cooldown for 95 because there's a delay before the DDTs appear. And yes, there we go, that's round 94. And let's see how we do versus these DDTs. So you know what, the first run actually I was thinking of just not using the ability, but that might be a bad idea, so let's use it. We need to wait a little bit, by the way, so we get a couple of DDTs appearing on the screen first, and we do have all of the abilities ready, but it doesn't seem like it's necessary, which is excellent news. I mean, oh wait a minute, the Sabo ended. Are we fine? Yes, we are. There we go. I'm so happy when we don't have to buy a tower like the Glue Storm or like the MIB Village to deal with DDTs. If you can deal with them like in other ways, that's absolutely perfect for me. And so how do we deal with these guys? I think I can dump the level 3 ability actually because we have the cooldown reduction on Brickle. So let's start off like this, and let's just deal with the small balloons first, and then when the ZMGs appear we can deal with them one by one. Alright, so ZMGs are on the field, so I'm going to use the mine up top actually. So let's keep these guys there. The level 3 is still on cooldown, and I think we should probably be using the Sabo on this one. Yeah, let's actually use the Sabo. Level 3 about to come off cooldown, and do we want to use it? I don't think so. We dealt with the guys up top, and it's only one ZMG down here from down bottom, and there we go. Alright, $35,000 round 97. Guys, this is going amazing so far. Alright, so round 97, we need to start getting ready for round 99 and 100 essentially. So I placed 2 of these spikes on these at 240s. I do want to be saving these abilities as much as possible, so let's actually use the sea mine down here. The cooldown is really not big on that one. And do we need to use one of the spike storms? I think we can afford to use at least one of this one because these guys are super beefy, and I want to save the level 3 ability actually. So I actually thought of getting the Avenger, and I decided against that, and the reason is that he gets his attack speed by just not being surrounded by other towers. And actually on this specific map, like, look at this thing, we have him somewhere like well, there's not even that much space. I guess we can have him here, but it's like a mess, and he's not gonna have any bonus attack speed. Round 98 is proving to be a little bit annoying for sure, so let's go like this. Let's use everything basically at once. I think we want to be dealing with these sides independently, but I'm not sure how viable of an option that is. We have 10k, so maybe we can do something with the cash. How is everything looking? It's a mess, isn't it? Alright, let's try it with 2 Sabos actually. I think this might be very beneficial if we have 2 Sabos up and running. So let's go like this. Let's not dump the Mega Mine actually. Let's use the first Sabo. I think we want to wait just a tiny bit so when the second Sabo runs out. Oh, never mind. Let's actually use the level 3 ability now. Just kind of wipe the screen a little bit. And then as soon as the first Sabo runs out, I'm ready with the second one. A lot of Bloons. How is the cooldown going in the Spike Storm? One of them is ready. One of them is... Okay, let's try it like this. I'm going to buy one single Moab press, and I'm going to have this thing on strong. And ideally, we want to be pushing back these Bloons coming down bottom. I'm also going to be using the Spike Storm abilities on this one. Let's try it like this. So let's wait just a tiny bit and then go like this, and I'm gonna dump the Mega Mine down bottom in combination with the level 3 ability and the Spike Storm, and I just want to deal with these guys down bottom as fast as possible. That's basically the thing that I'm going for. That's the most important thing. I see a huge chunk of these 45s down bottom. Oh my god, that's so many Bloons, and our Spike Storm is incoming. Do we want to use it? Probably not actually. Let's keep it. This is the best one so far. Do we have it? I think this Boomerang is doing the Lord's work, and it's so close. I think we do have it. Yes, 98. That was amazing. Alright, so we have one single Spike Storm ready. I don't want to use it on this one, actually. I want to use the Sabo, so we save both Spike Storms for the next one. So hopefully this is going to be enough, guys. We do have a Mega Mine as well. And how is it doing versus these 45s? Yes, that's amazing. Alright, so around 100, let's use the Mega Mine on this one. Are we going to have both of the Spike Storms? Yes, absolutely. And let's just wait a second. Dump both of these abilities. When the bat pops, we're going to need to use the Sabo. And I'm going to use the level 3 ability. And that is it. That is going to be about it with Flooded Valley on Chimps mode. That was so good. Oh, that's a beautiful instant monkey to end it off as well. I'm telling you guys, this new ice, an absolute game changer. Makes the early and the mid game so much easier. It feels like an advanced map. Honestly, it's not even close. But yeah, let's go for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm going to see you all in the next one.